Today let's talk about the biggest threat to your freedom, which the police can very effectively ruin very easily. I have seen in a lot of situations where when an economically destitute person commits an offense, and statistically they are more liable to commit offenses because of economic requirements, because of maybe lack of education, lack of understanding of the socio-cultural system of India. And when economically destitute people commit an offense, it does not benefit the police to prosecute them much, because of the fact that these people don't have money to bribe these corrupt police officials. So instead what the cops do is that, say if I'm an employee of a company or of maybe a business owner, and I know that the employee has committed an offense and the business owner is the one who has the money, the police will often, to the best possible extent, try to implicate falsely the owner of the company, the CEO, any such person possible, because that is the person whom, when they go to arrest or when they charge with an offense, that is the person who is going to actually give them the bribe that they want. That is the sole goal of theirs. So a lot of times I've seen, and very recently a person was telling me about how she filed a complaint against a person who made a sexual move towards her, and because that person was again economically destitute, just like a like a regular 5,000-7,000 rupees per month earning Joe, the police insisted that she also implicate the owner of the business at which this employee was working, simply for no other reason but to extract some money out of the business owner as well. This is something that I see happen on several occasions. In fact, another aspect is, say if I am the son of someone who is affluent, or I'm the relative of someone who is affluent, in that situation as well, and I have committed an offense, the police will try to implicate my affluent father, mother, my family members, just so that again there is that immediate thing that, alright, now Amish Agarwal of course is this nut job who does whatever he does, but if you really want to nail it in the head, you should also implicate the family member. And this is exactly what happened for a client of mine who is still facing trial under section 302 IPC in this court itself, that is Rohini court. And what happened was that three young blooded guys got together and stabbed one of their so-called enemies to death. And just because the father and the mother knew that it serves us better to get our revenge, and the police, it serves them better to get involve as many people as possible so that they can get as much bribe as possible, they also implicated my client who was at a completely different venue. And this is the problem with over implication. One aspect is that, especially when it comes to say murder cases, right, because the deceased is actually dead, the courts are the courts take it very seriously, because they say that a person has lost his life, justice must be done. So whenever the police will come and state maybe 2 or 3 or 4 names, it's very easy for the police to add the 5th name or the 6th name or the 7th or the 8th or the 9th name. And another aspect is that because the investigation of the case rests completely in the hands of the police, and they can play around with it in any way that they please, they often do abuse this power. If we wanted to remedy this, we could have the courts more involved, we could have the public prosecutors more involved from the very beginning, like the way they do in the United States. However, in India, the IO Sahab is the sole supreme god who is at complete liberty to do whatever he wants with the investigation up until he files the charge sheet. After that, the reins of the matter are taken over by the court. But until that time, the police officer can do whatever he pleases. And what he does do is to fulfill his own economic incentive, which is to get as much money possible from the person who has the most amount of money, even if he is not guilty at all, if he is just in any possible way related to the actual perpetrator. And that is a lesson for all of us to remember, that we are not completely free from any sort of false criminal cases which can be filed against us, because I've seen from situations all the time, it happens very regularly, all the time. If there is one family member who is an actual accused person, they will throw 2, 3, 4 more, as many as possible, just so that there is a higher incentive for the accused person to maybe settle the matter, or for the accused persons to pay off the police, whatever the case may be, from a case to case basis. Something that we all need to remember. And of course, there are ways to preserve evidence, there are ways to counter such claims. Of course, they are also very, very subjective, but we need to be mindful of something that can happen, something like this that can happen, and that if something like that happens, we need to move the courts of law immediately to have the slightest bit chance of getting justice in the form of getting out of this false implication.